Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and today's video is going to be sort of a 2-for-1 special. Not only are we going to be reviewing this guitar, a new Fender Sweetwater Exclusive GT11 Stratocaster that's now in the American Professional 2 line of guitars, but this guitar was plecked by Sweetwater, so it should be set up optimally, and I'll be letting you know how good of a job they did with that. To begin with though, we like to put the guitar on the bench and check it out, and with this one, the specs are a little bit different from a standard American Professional 2, so I figure that's the best place to start. Once we finish up on the bench, I'll be playing some sound examples so you get an idea of what this guitar sounds like. And finally, we'll wrap things up by talking about some of the subjective stuff. How does the guitar feel? How good was the Plek job that Sweetwater did on this, and is it something that I would recommend? This video is brought to you by Sweetwater though, because Sweetwater's the only place where you could buy the GT11 line of guitars, and I'm really stoked that they introduced it into the American Professional 2 line because previously it was only available from the custom shop. If you're interested in this or anything else, you can actually stack discounts right now and get a really good deal. Click on the link in the description, you can find out a little bit more, and if you do decide you want to purchase one, it helps out the channel a lot when you do use that link to do so. That out of the way, let's throw it on the bench and let's get started. This guitar was inspired by the Fender Custom Shop GT11 Stratocaster, which is also only available at Sweetwater. But being a part of the American Professional 2 lineup, it's a whole lot more affordable than the Custom Shop. We have no strings on it right now, and the reason for that is because when we get to the neck, I'm going to take measurements at the 1st and the 12th fret, but I like to start off at the body. It's got an alder body with a poly finish, and this is a shell pink with a mint pickguard. It's also available in Sonic Blue, Olympic White, and Fiesta Red. Pickups are also a big difference from the standard production model American Pros. These ones have fat 60s custom shop pickups, and to me that's a big upgrade to the V mods. Nice little electrical touch. I don't know how practical it's going to be, but you got to push on the second tone knob. What it's going to do is, if you're on the bridge pickup or the combination of the bridge and the middle pickup, it'll add the neck pickup into it when it's engaged, so we might get some super quacky sounds out of that. The bridge on this guitar is also different from the standard model. That one comes with a 2-point system. This one has the vintage 6-screw bridge, and I actually really prefer that. It's got a cold rolled steel block, so no zinc here, and it's got narrow string spacing. That might not seem like a big deal, but I played strats where they don't have the spacing on it, and what will happen is, if you're playing leads or anything with pull-offs on the E string up here, it can fall off the edge of the fingerboard. By having the narrower spacing on it, there's more clearance so that you don't have to worry about that happening. There's only one little difference on the back of the guitar, and that's the fact that there's no plate and there's no routing for the back plate on it, which I think all Strats should have that. I've never met anybody that actually kept the thing on. Alright, let's get some measurements. 0.84 at the 1st fret. 0.94, almost 0.95 at the 12th fret. To me, the neck is the most unique thing about this guitar, and it's the thing I see people that own this and the custom shop version raving about the most. It's got an 11-inch radius. That's pretty unique. Only this and the custom shop version have that from Fender. 22 narrow tall frets, and they did a really good job when they had this in the shop smoothing out the fret edges. These are super buttery smooth. Let's check out how level they are though, because after all, this was plecked. I would have been more surprised if these weren't level frets, considering this went through a Plek service, but yeah, that's all you can ever expect, and really that is how it should be. They're perfectly level. Let's check out the actual shape of the neck for a second here. It's got the oval C on it, and it's got the really smooth finish on the back of it. I love the fact that it has a roasted maple neck, something I really wouldn't have been the biggest fan of a few years ago, but having played a few, it's really grown on me. The headstock's the most standard part about this guitar. You got cast tuners that are non-locking, truss rod access at the top, and a bone nut. Let's get some strings on it, and let's hear what it sounds like. I'm going to be doing the demo today, a capture of my Dr.Z Z Plus in the Quad Cortex, and we're going to be using 2 pedals with it, the Origin Effects MEQ driver and the Brown Amplification Protein. I got a lot to get into in this section of the video, but I decided I'm going to start off going over the Plek itself. I'm really happy that the frets were as level as they were. The fact that this guitar wasn't actually shipped to me in the tuning that I wanted it in E flat and came in E standard, that's not really the end of the world. That was really easy to fix. However, one thing that really did disappoint me though, you'll be able to hear it. That's not a sound you ever want to hear your guitar make, especially one that just had a Plek job done on it. The reason that this happens is because the string is actually binding in the nut. The nut slot was not optimized to fit this string gauge on it. So I actually have a little bit of problems and hesitancy using the vibrato unit on this guitar because when I started to push down, it would bind. And this string in particular, the E, wouldn't always return back to pitch. So that's why in the demonstration, I used it pretty sparingly. And honestly, I expect a little bit better. I'm really happy that the frets were perfectly level on this guitar, but yeah, that's something that I really would have expected they would have caught when they were doing their final inspections at Sweetwater. Just to give you some context, I'm going to show you what happens when you use the trem and the nut is not slotted properly. Right now we're in tune. That's not what you want. Despite the setup issue, there's a few things I really like about this guitar, but one in particular that I love that really sells me on the guitar, and that's the neck itself. This neck is the oval C. Oh my god, it feels just like some of my older Fender guitars. I adore it. It's not too big, not too small. It's just perfect feeling, and the fact that it has a really smooth satin finish and the fretwork is top notch after the Plek. This is a dream to play. It does have a flatter radius too, so if you're somebody who's worried about choking out on a vintage or even a modern radius, you want a really low action, you don't have to worry about it with this guitar. It really is as advertised. It's fantastic. Last but not least, I want to talk about these Fender Custom Shop Fat 60s pickups. I've heard them in other guitars prior to this one, and I thought they always sounded great, and I thought they sounded pretty good in this guitar too, but I'm not sure that they were the best possible choice they could have made. Let me explain why that is. These have staggered pole pieces, so they're not flat. The guitar has a very flat radius to it compared to a vintage 7 1/4. So what happens is the sound is a little bit unbalanced. I noticed that the G especially was like super dominant and present, so I was getting like a big mid push out of the guitar. And I feel like if they had chosen pickups that were flat pole pickups, it would have matched this guitar a lot better. But that being said, it absolutely didn't sound bad, so I'm not sitting here nitpicking to that extent. I just feel like if these were the same exact pickups except with flat pole pieces, it would have been a better overall fit for a more balanced tone. But overall, if you're somebody who wants a more traditional feeling neck shape and not the compound radius that's available on offer, but a flatter fingerboard, this is an absolutely killer guitar. The neck really is fantastic. I could see why so many people love the Fender Custom Shop model because it's the same exact spec on the neck itself. Man, it really is a joy to play. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Something like 85% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. Yeah, that kind of hurts my heart a little bit. I work hard for you guys. You can at least hit that button. It's free. And if you want to learn any more about the Sweetwater Exclusive GT11 Stratocasters, you can click the link in the description that will take you right to them. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.